Good morning, guys. Welcome to another edition of DoMoreLife. And today we're going to actually talk about why we're not being able to do more life in Thailand right now. And the reason for that is quite simple. Thailand refuses to call what they've implemented a lockdown, but somebody give me, yes, Bob, we are live. Somebody give me another word for it, because when you restrict the movements of people, when you impose travel restrictions across interprovincial travel, when you close some provinces, and when you are imposed curfews, etc., meaning you can't go certain places at certain times, tell me what you call it. I call it a lockdown. I know that's not a favorable word, but at the same time, Montelli, please call me. Please, 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 after this live stream, please call me. I really need to talk to you, brother. Really, really, really bad. Not, that's always an option, but we're not quite there yet, that's for sure. Montelli says, ban me, I'm about to be bad. Just do your best to control yourself, Montelli. Let's get rid of the statements there, just to be what we want to be. No offense, Don or Charles. Your statements are up there, but we'll remove them. I'm sure everybody got to see them. And I don't disagree with either one of you. I mean, Don, obviously we're not quite to what you said yet, but certainly Charles makes an excellent point about where we might actually be in the grand overall scheme of this things. You might be right, Don. You very well may be correct, sir. For 17 years, wow, that's a long time. Okay, Montelli's being nice. Good. Then that means I will read today's description of the video, and we'll get started talking about it. Hey, Ross, good to see you, brother. Thank you for dropping by. I appreciate it. Probably need your input here at some point. I'd like to thank everyone who's already hit the thumbs up button, and if you feel that you're going to get value in this video, or if you do receive value from this video, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button. And you can also share this video live while we're talking, because there's a lot of information I'm getting ready to give you guys on a very rainy day here in Bangkok, Thailand. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about. In this live discussion, we will discuss another Thailand lockdown and how the new lockdown and travel restrictions will affect foreign and domestic tourism in Thailand. This question will be answered for 2021 tourism and beyond. Once again, Thailand has seen a substantial rise in the number of COVID-19 cases. Thailand has been able to secure and distribute less vaccinations for people, so they continue to control the movement of people, impose curfews, impose alcohol bans, close businesses, and severely damage Thailand's economy by implementing the emergency decree, which has included many lockdowns and restrictions. The emergency decree gives the government sweeping powers to do whatever they want to. Hello, Griffin. Welcome, sir. I'll get back to your comments in just a second, guys. All of this is their way of combating the virus. In the meantime, Thailand continues to push forward with reopening to foreign tourists via the Phuket sandbox and the Samui Plus model. How can a country be partially locked down and open for foreign tourism at the same time? I hope this video answers this question. In light of all the criticism, I still believe Thailand's government is doing what they feel is best for the safety of the country and its citizens. I love Thailand. and I hope it will remain my home. And I say hope because it ain't getting no easier. What's up, Travel Eats? Good to see you, Pepe. Very good to see you, bro. Who else am I missing here? Did I miss anybody? I said hey to Griffin. I hope everybody else I'd already said hello to. Prep for it. I'm glad to see you in here, man. So Ross says, if the lockdown hits all of Thailand, you can kiss tourism goodbye for another year. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hello, DD. Nice to see you in the chat. Ross says, so far 1/3 of the provinces are in lockdown. That's what I read as well. Also read that all 77 provinces now have infections. So, and I'm going to read you some, I promise you, I'm going to read you some news in just a second that's going to tell you why this this new variant is spreading throughout Thailand like wildfire and why the numbers are so high. You're not going to believe it. In fact, YouTube might not believe it, but I'm going to give it to you from a credible source, YouTube. So if you're listening to this, this is not my opinion, okay? These are scientific facts that I'm going to give. You guys are not going to believe. It's going to blow your mind. It's literally going to blow your mind. And I'll tell you there. Yeah, Montella's. And it didn't take much to do so. And I also agree that there'll be a new one. Agreed, Montelli. Just keep being nice. You're doing good. Billy Boyd, hey, hello to you. There's Lyle. Hey, Lyle. How are you, my friend? Don C says only 5.6%. Let me catch the comment so I can make sure I know what I'm talking about here. And Ross, I agree with you about kissing tourism goodbye. Travel Eats, I said hello to. We have okay, so the vaccination rate in Thailand is about 5.6%. That's accurate too. That's what Don was talking about. Pepe says, well, I'm not planning a visit until I'm 100%. I want the full experience, and I do not blame you, Pepe. I do not blame you one bit. I'm encouraging everybody to stay away right now. And let me give you some numbers on why I'm asking people to stay away right now. Briefly, on Wednesday, it's very important that you guys understand. On Wednesday, Thailand, the CCSA had issued a statement saying, I'm paraphrasing, that we expect to have 10,000 new cases a day by next week. Okay, this was on Wednesday of this week. Today is Saturday as we speak here in Thailand. Well, let me give you the numbers. Okay, so on Wednesday, which was, let me make sure I got my dates right here. I don't want to mess anything up. Wednesday was the 7th. Okay, on the 7th, there were 6,519 cases with 54 people no longer with us. On the 8th, the next day, there was 7,058. Maybe the announcement came on Thursday, not Wednesday, because it happened the day after. There were 7,058 cases and 75 people who were no longer with us. Now, Friday saw 9,276 cases and 72 people no longer with us. And today's report, 9,326 cases and 91 people who are no longer with us. Some expats that report on Twitter continue to say that this is not a lockdown. Look, I don't care if you call it a lockdown or if you call it a movement restriction, travel restriction. You can call it whatever you want to. A white house is still white. A red barn is still red. I don't know how you get around the word itself. And that's just my personal opinion. AirAsia canceled all domestic flights. Wanted to let you guys know that. So if you're here And in Thailand, if you had tickets booked through AirAsia, I'll read you that email in just a moment. But I want to get to something very important after I catch up with these comments, because you guys have a lot of good comments. Thanks that we have so many people watching today, 51 people already. Would love to see some thumbs up on that. That'd be awesome. Robert, thank you for dropping the PayPal link and the Cash App in there. Very much appreciated. And guys, as you know, I am currently partially furloughed at work, so any and all contributions would be greatly appreciated. Not required by any means, but greatly, greatly appreciated. So thank you, Robert, and I will pin that to the top of the list up there. Thank you guys in advance, because I know at some point somebody will throw out a challenge, and we'll have a good time with that. So I just want to say thanks in advance. This community does a good job making sure they take care of DoMoreLife, and I appreciate that. Now, where was I? Okay, I said hello to Mr. Lyle. Didi says, want to visit Thailand, only have 2 weeks vacation. Yep, so you would essentially be stuck in Phuket, or starting the 14th of July, they're still planning on opening this Samui Plus model. So potentially you could be on Samui or some of the surrounding islands, or do 14 days in Phuket. Up to you. A lot of paperwork to get here. Contact a legal professional. That's my best advice if you've never done any kind of travel paperwork to this degree before. You can do it by yourself, but it would be difficult. First included in this number, says Nancy. First, yeah. Okay, so Chuglug, that's a response to Travelese. Chuglug says, it's all good. I've been vaccinated and I'm not going anywhere. I hear you, bud. I hear you. Let's see. I read that from Montelli already. Is there... Pepe says, is it really that bad there? The state of South Carolina has been opening up. It's really that bad, Pepe. It's really as bad as what I'm telling you. And I'm going to talk more about how bad it is. Just be patient here. Let me get into the stream, and I will give you some facts for sure. Charles says, sounds like a song. The virus come out at night. I'm telling you, man, it's weird. Don C says, they just don't seem to be able to ramp up. I think that will change in the next 60 days. Well, I hope so. But for me, 60 days ago, I thought it would change. In fact, 6 months ago, I thought all this would be over by now. But I hope you're right, Don. Don't get me wrong. I'm not making light of what you're saying in any way, form, or fashion. I hope in the next 60 days it does change. Robert's got a good point there. Ross says, Steve, it is not outfox ties. It's because Thai ideas have no effect on the spread. Forget science and what other countries have seen and done. Let's use their gut feeling. Fair statement from where I stand. I've been living here 3 years. Ross has been here about twice the amount of time I have. So we kind of understand how some of this stuff works. Gotta love Thailand says, heard only 15 provinces, and you're saying it's 1/3. Is that correct? He's talking to Ross. Gotta love Thailand be the double red zone, so the dark red zone. So you're saying the third of the country in dark red zones. Ross says 27 so far. Gotta love Thailand. There's 77 provinces in Thailand, so 27 of them are according to Ross in dark red zones. Charlie says Cheap Charlie just made a video basically saying Thailand was off the table. I can understand why. I can completely understand why, and I can't give as a person who loves to travel and a person who has been dealing with this situation in Thailand since it began. Can't recommend anybody coming right now. Just not right now. I'm not saying you can't come in if you shouldn't come. You make your own decision. Let me brief disclaimer here. I am not a physician. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a medical advisor. This is not medical advice. This is not tourism advice or travel advice. This is just my experience and what I've done in the past, and basically my opinion on the overall situation as it unfolds based on my experience. Hey, Jose, good to see you, brother. Chugalo says Thailand should have never opened up the invited virus in. That's an opinion many people have. Johnny Five says, I don't understand these lockdowns. Seems like they are just destroying the economy. They are. It is destroying the economy. It's absolutely refusing to let people go back to work. And with these restaurant closed, that they've set it up so that it'll be, and I'll read you the details in a minute, but they've set it up so that the in-store dine-in is completely done. So the workers in the restaurant are only going to be the cooks, basically, and maybe one staffer out on the floor or whatever. Because sometimes people walk up, order food, and take away, so you can take away or whatever. The malls will be open during the day. There is one good thing that I did read from an expat here in Thailand. He's correct on this. There's no need to panic shop because the malls will be open during the day. The curfews will be implemented at night from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Now, why Thai logic? Everything's closed. Okay, the nightlife industry is closed and dead. The entertainment industry is closed and dead. All right, the bars are closed. Everything that people normally do at night, there's an alcohol ban. All that's closed. Why are you imposing a curfew from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m.? Nobody's out anyway. That's kind of my, like, I don't understand. I don't understand. And again, I'm not trying to criticize the Thai government or the Thai legislative bodies, and certainly not the Thai citizens. But like, I'm just asking, what's the reason behind that? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Not to me anyway. If somebody can explain it to me, I'm open-minded, happy to hear it. Charles says, I don't care how many, it won't match the rate. U.S. hit. I'm coming, come hell or high water in February. Only money will slow me. I hear you, brother. I hear you. That's fair enough. Fair enough, 100%. Montelli, let me pre-read this comment first. Yeah. So Montelli's talking about something that I'm going to talk about later. There's a certain number of tourists that are on Phuket that were in the group of the gentleman that tested positive. I think it was the guy that tested positive from the UAE upon arrival, and they've been forced in. So they got a refund on their hotel, but then they were forced to pay for ASQ to stay in quarantine, right? On Phuket. Now they're asking to leave, but where are the flights? I don't understand. Chuggalug says, Johnny Five says, at Chuggalug, lockdowns don't prevent the spread of anything. Agreed. Chuggalug says, I tell you what they do prevent the spread of. Job growth, the ability to have income. They prevent tourism. They prevent travel. They prevent a normal life, normal in air quotes. They prevent all those things. Chuckaloo says, tell that to Australia and New Zealand. there's another argument to be made there, but I understand your point. Don C says, I spent a year in the U.S. dealing with this issue there. Now that I'm here in Thailand, it's worse. So many people dependent on tourism. Hunger is rampant. He's in, if you don't mind me saying, Don, because you've said many times, you're in Pattaya. And so he sees the long lines of people without food and that kind of thing every day. And the people that go there to help feed the people of Pattaya. And I saw pictures of it myself. It's absolutely saddening, disheartening. It really is. LMAO, Mr. Mikes says, anyone notice that the restrictions come shortly after I better pull that one down. That might get me in trouble with Thailand. But that is a very, very, very good point, Mike. I hope people got to read that before I took it down. New York Frank, hello, welcome, and good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for coming by. Always good to see you. Tim says, see, here's the thing. Thailand knows this information already, yet they keep rolling out packages that have zero chance of succeeding. That's what Tim said. And Ross agrees. DD says, thank you. Hey, what's up, bro? Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Don says, Tim, there's a huge pressure to open up to keep businesses from closing completely. It's a tough situation. Yeah, it is. It is. Chonburi is not in a dark red province as of right now, but they're in a red province. So they're still in a highly controlled area, according to the chart I looked at right before I went to bed last night. I promise I'm going to get to some information here very shortly that's going to make your brain go. Ross said, Tim says, Don C, I understand that, but we are talking official channels, and there is only so many times you can cry wolf. Fair enough. Ross says, it has changed. It's gotten worse. I agree, Ross. I agree. Steve says their gut feeling is not going well. That's the understatement of the year, but for you, we'll let it slide, my Telly, because I don't want you to say how you really feel about the situation. Don C says, Tim, yes, you're right. Politicians are really taking a beating on the issue. Yes, they are. LG, welcome back. Wow, you come on the same time as yep, he's doing his live stream as you speak, and the Tiger do their live stream at this time too, but missing today. Don't know why, but that's all good. David, Australia ramping up again, pushing, you know what? Yep, I heard that. I heard all about that, actually. Sorry to hear that, brother. Roy says, in India, especially Goa, are only reporting around 200 cases a day now, which is good, I guess. Sounds good. LG says, I'm staying with you. Thank you. Appreciate that, man. Robert Mack says, to LMAO, kind of looks like it. I agree. Diddy says, rather wait until next year. Absolutely a good idea. Johnny 5, hell of a disclaimer. Got to make sure that disclaimer's in there, man. Don C says, the only reason to come now is if you're ready to relocate and relocate and live here. And I agree. I got my shot and spent the money in quarantine to live here permanently. Yeah, if you're coming here to live permanently, then it doesn't matter if you come now or wait or whatever. And especially if you're fully vaccinated, it shouldn't be a problem. Unless, I'll get to that in a second. Charles says Thailand opening up wasn't the issue. Illegals were the initial issue. That's true. Paul says it's a control thing. It certainly, anytime you're controlling the movement of people and what they can and can't do, it's a control thing. We have our first PayPal of the day from Mr. Carl. I won't say your last name, but thank you very, very much, sir. I greatly appreciate the PayPal. Greatly appreciate it. A little bit goes a long way, and the channel and myself certainly certainly can use it right now. Carl has sent, a $5 PayPal. So we got it started right there with $5. Thank you very much, Carl. I appreciate you. And thanks again. Ross says, so the indoor AC areas, the places where C19 spreads the best, leave open, but the beaches outdoors where C19 has the hardest chance to spread, keep closed. That's basically what's happening. You're right, Ross. Charles says opening to vaccinated and tested people didn't cause the issue. No, I don't think it did either. Carl says, JC, we have certainly our own issues here in the U.S., but do you feel more constrained there, all things considered? Yes. There is a possibility of me going back to the U.S., by the way. We'll get into that later, too. Or maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. Don C. says, Charles saw that it's still the issue. The illegal border crossings are a real big issue. Yep, that's true. Hey, Jose says it was inevitable, was going to happen regardless. I agree. Jordan's asking a question to Carl. Jordan is my brother, in case you guys wonder who he is. He's definitely not a troll. I know his new face on here, but that's my little brother. Actually, he's about 6 inches taller than I am, but he's still my little brother. This is Jesse. Well, the curfew has an impact on nightly service workers, hospital, police, and so on. Less people out means less resources are spent on people being out, and they can allocate them to others. Well, yeah, but are they allocating it? That's the question. That's the real question. Are they allocating? Carl says, for what it's worth, it's insane how we've reacted to 60. Yeah, can't leave that one up, but that's a fair comment, Carl. Fair comment. Carl says, Jordan purple now, thanks to everyone leaving the Northeast. Cool. I'm not far from where JC grew up, Jordan. All right, there you go. Well, then you're not far from where Jordan grew up either. Jordan says, yeah, the Carolinas are being iffy. However, I've almost always ignored the restrictions for the reason you said, 0.5% or less chance of death. The universal, yeah. Bro, you can't talk like that on the live stream. YouTube will pull my stream down. Prep for it says, I think that along with food and water, okay, cool. It says, I think along with food and water for the hundreds that come from miles away to line up, they should also offer, a jab, not forced but available. I agree. Paul says, just waiting for the IMF to show up. I hear you, man. Lyle's got a challenge. Lyle has a challenge, a PayPal challenge, and we got 64 people watching. We should be able to meet that challenge, Lyle. Let's see if it happens. He says, challenge, get 70 USD in Cash App or PayPal. I'll throw in 30 more. Make me pay. So Lyle wants us to get $100. $100. That's what Lyle wants us to get. And he will put in 30 of it, and we're looking for 70 more from anybody who can click the link at the top of the page, this pin, that's the PayPal link, or use the Cash App. Very much appreciated, Lyle. Thank you very much, and I assume that's going to go on throughout the live stream, so I appreciate that, brother, very, very much. We'll see who gets involved in the challenge. I haven't even gotten to the information yet, but we'll get there. Well, there's the first person involved in the challenge. Maybe we'll get the challenge knocked out of the way real quick, and then we'll move on to the information. I'm not sure. But I want to show you guys the email as soon as it comes through. There it is. Mr. Charles White has contributed $15 US. Mr. Charles White, thank you very much, sir. I greatly appreciate that. So we are now down to $55. Need 55 more dollars, and we will get the 30 from Lyle and have a great day on DoMoreLife. Let's see here. Lyle, that was a challenge. Montelli says, does anyone but me notice that the more they vax, the worse it gets? Too bad. conspiracy theories have come true. You know what, Montelli? You're right. You're right. And I'm going to tell you in a minute about one of those vaxes and why you're right. I'm getting there. Just let me get caught up on the comments. I promise I'm getting there. The Scotty B Show. Hello, Scotty B. Good to see you, man. Hello, Jeremy. Getting crazy with lockdowns again, man. It's getting borderline ludicrous, to be honest with you. Carl says we're starting to read about a lot of adverse reactions. That's true. So am I. Saw a great video on how vaccinating partially only cause variants to occur. I've heard the same thing. Someone just hit a $20 super chat. Ranaway says, enjoying your chat. Thank you very much, Mr. Ranaway. I appreciate that very, very much. That $20, just for people who are wondering, for Lyle's Challenge does not count towards Lyle's Challenge. He wants PayPal or Cash App. But Ranaway, I appreciate very, very much your contribution, sir. Thank you for the super chat. That's a big super chat, and it means a lot to the channel and myself. Yeah, Carl, there are more noticeable things starting to occur. I agree. George says, can you see Bangkok opening bars fully up by Christmas? No, not really. I don't think so, because right now the major problem in Thailand is they can't get vaccines here, and the vaccines that are getting here, according to what I'm going to read you in just a minute, are not. Let me just read it and get it out of the way. Let me just read it. I'm just going to tell you. I'm just going to tell you. Okay, YouTube, listen to me, YouTube. The people at YouTube. This is not Jeremy saying this. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This was written by Neil Fronde from The Tiger, which is a reputable news source here in Thailand. Okay. And he documents the sources that it comes from. The Thai PBS world is where it comes from. Carl just gave $5 more to the Lyle's Challenge. Thank you very much, Carl. I appreciate that, brother. I'll throw that email up real quick so we can see that. I won't throw your last name up there. Don't worry, man. And there is his $5 that just came in. So now we are $50 away. $50 US away from hitting our goal and making Lyle pay 30. We'll see if that happens. All right. Now, this comes from the Thai PBS world, but I'm reading it from the Tiger. Okay. That is a source. And this is what it says. This is the most important thing I will read to you today. And this is why. Yeah, thanks, Jordan, for removing the comment. No offense, bro. It's just YouTube stuff, not mine. You know I don't care what you say. This is probably the most important thing I'll read all day, because this is why you're seeing this new variant that starts with a D, why you're seeing it spread through Thailand, and why the mortality rate so high, because more people are getting infected, and they can't understand. They've had the vaccine. They don't know what the problem is. So here we go. A new study released today seems to have confirmed what many have feared. The I'm just going to say Sino, okay, vaccine has little effectiveness in stopping the COVID-19 Delta variant. The Delta strain, first identified in India, is particularly dangerous as it is found to be much more contagious and is spreading rapidly throughout Thailand. It has been predicted that the variant will be the dominant form of COVID-19 in Thailand by next month. I would argue that it already is. Studies have shown that Chinese-made vaccine is over 90% effective in producing neutralizing antibodies to fight COVID-19. And with those antibodies, it provides 80 to 90% immunity for the alpha variant of C19. But data has shown that the Sino jab is far less effective against the Delta variant in a joint study between the head of the Thai Red Cross Emerging Infectious Disease Health Science Center and a virologist at biotech. The study revealed that the mRNA vaccines are the most effective in battling the Delta variant of COVID. Still, due to slowness in approving and ordering, no vaccine that works using the mRNA vaccine will be available in Thailand until at least October. Moderna, and I can't believe I said the whole name, Mod, and Pfizer all use mRNA technology and have now been approved in Thailand, but have proved difficult to get inside the borders. And when they say difficult, that is an understatement, guys, a big understatement. They can't manufacture those two here, and they can't seem to procure or solidify orders for those. The Lawyers Association of Thailand, and I'm still reading from the Tiger here, the source on this is the Thai PBS News World, which is like the Thai media, right? The Lawyers Association of Thailand recently berated the Thai government, saying that they have abandoned their constitutional duty to provide effective health care by failing to produce these mRNA vaccine brands and instead ordering nearly 11 million more Sino jabs, even though they are ineffective against the Delta variant. This new study released today seems to reinforce their position. Without mRNA jabs, the study revealed the next best protection is 2 doses of the AZ jab, which has been proven in the study to have over 90% neutralizing antibody levels to combat the Delta variant. Thailand made a deal to produce AC domestically, but the production facilities at Siam Bioscience has been plagued with delays and output shortfalls, having the number of vaccines Thailand expected. For example, those of you that don't know, they were expected to kick out 10 million doses a month. They've cut that number down to 5 to 6 million as of right now. Continuing on in the article from the Tiger, which is sourced from Thai PBS News World, another relatively quick fix, especially for those already fully vaccinated with the increasingly ineffective Sinovac. It is an AZ booster shot. The study showed that just one injection of AZ in someone who already received the Sino jab significantly increases the body's ability to prevent the Delta variant infections. It's not as effective as full AZ vaccination, but they are recommending a booster shot for frontline medical personnel right now. Right away to keep them safer from the Delta variant than only Sino. Meanwhile, Thailand continues to import the Sino jab with 10.9 million recently ordered to add to the 14.5 million already received. So let's think about it. And they make one correction. They say Johnson & Johnson was previously misstated to be an mRNA vax. So 14.5 million, which is the vast majority of jabs that have went out here in Thailand, are ineffective against the current variant that's sweeping through Thailand. Just sit on that for a little bit while we talk about other news and I go through the comments. Just think about that. Think about what kind of impact that's having right now. Absolutely amazing. Johnny 5, you accept Bitcoin? I would love to, but I don't have a wallet address yet because I'm just getting into crypto. But if I knew how to accept Bitcoin, I would definitely take Bitcoin. Johnny Five. So somebody will teach me at some point. Carl says, Jordan, no kidding. Did you know he had one? And yeah, didn't know he had one. There could be worse states to live in North Carolina. Robert says, Johnny Five, as long as it is the whole Bitcoin. Yeah, the whole Bitcoin. It's only about $34,000 right now. It's okay. Robert says, Johnny Five, we all need to be that rich. I know, right? Charles says, not to distract, but horseradish, cheddar, cheese, cubes, rock. Absolutely. Ran away. Thank you again for the super chat. I appreciate that. Paul says, hey, Montelli, been a while. Sally Sue says, you got a girlfriend. Indeed. I do. Sometimes, well, occasionally. She's got her headphones in right now. Montelli says, just starting to hear about adverse reactions, ? Yeah, I know, right? Because there's been a lot going around. Tim says, go ahead and read it. I did. Montelli, Paul S., how have you been? Charles says, addressing YouTube, love you, man. Yeah. David says, same everywhere. All about the vax. That's true. Carl says, Steve, no, but now the mainstream media is at least reporting it. VAERS has been showing this for months, but the lamestream media doesn't want to report on it for political purpose. That makes sense. Stuck. My man says Brazil found out the Sin one wasn't very effective months ago against any of them. That doesn't surprise me, and it doesn't surprise me that nobody said anything either. Montelli's got a good point there. Carl says, yep, Steve saw the article as well. Funny how folks called Jones Cook. We can't say his name, Carl. I'm sorry. We can't say his name on YouTube because YouTube really doesn't like him. So we'll kick him off. This is Jesse. All started. It only takes 14 days to stop the curve. That's just false. I'm sorry. It's just false. That's a false statement. Only takes 30 days to stop the curve. Another false statement. Only takes 90 days to stop the curve. Completely false. Only takes getting the vax to stop the virus. Well, Delta is stop. Just false after false after false. They did 14 days to flatten the curve about 15 months ago in the U.S. Okay? They're still losing people every day. You cannot stop this virus. You can't stop it. It's going to keep going. Okay? At this point, certain countries can't even contain it. We have more of an endemic than we do the other word that starts with a P. Filtho says, isn't the Delta variant the one they specifically engineered for India's genotype before the invasion? Let me take that down real quick. Montelli says, Jeremy, YouTube no longer cares if you say Pfizer and Moderna. The dirty little secrets have already come out in the mainstream media. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, good. Then I'll start saying them. Carl says, we'll investigate the true origins of the Wu flu once investigate all of Hillary's deleted emails on personal server. Yeah, exactly. Good luck. LG says, Pfizer around 65% immunity with 2 jabs, 1 jab around 33%. If breakthrough infection, 88% asymptomatic or mild symptoms, but the problem is takes at least 5 weeks to be fully vaccinated. Interesting. Frank Kenny says, farm or vac? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Frank. I apologize. Carl says the global elites don't care about and while I agree with that statement, we'll pull it down too because YouTube have a field day with it. Carl, you got a very good point. You got a very good point. Very, very, very good point. Doesn't seem that people care. Not just talking about Thailand. I'm talking about in general everywhere, right? Montelli says, add more. Yeah. If you hadn't read Montelli's comment there, read it. I'm going to pull it down, of course. But that's a very good statement, Montelli, and accurate in my opinion. So it is what it is. Let's go down here. Where were we? Tim says she is running the camera now. No, the camera is in my built-in camera in my computer. Sally Sue, it's Cherokee, by the way. Jordan wasn't sure, and I was curious. Oh, hey, Cherokee. Sorry, Sally Sue. It's all good. Keep the name Sally Sue. No worries. But thank you for dropping by and listening. Awesome. Mr. Richard Cyphers, channel member. Hello, sir. I hope you are doing well. Carl says, what concerns me is that when we do have a true one of those, folks won't adhere to things because of how governments handled this. People are waking up and fed up. That is 100% accurate in my opinion. 100% accurate. I agree. Okay, so do we have any good news? Well, here's a little bit of good news. Japan recently donated just over 1 million AZ vax or AZ jabs to Thailand in hopes of battling the surging C-19 outbreaks hammering the country. And today the CCSA announced plans to give those jabs to the elderly in Bangkok, because that's what seems to be the most vulnerable category of people right now. The 1.05 million jabs that arrived today from Japan will be earmarked for senior citizens, both Thai nationals and foreigners currently in Thailand. That's interesting. Those over the age of 60, and also anyone with one of the 7 chronic diseases designated as high risk for C-19 will be eligible for the AZ vax, regardless of nationality. The CCSA is focusing C-19 jabs, especially with the AZ jab, on 2 categories, the old and the at-risk, and the greater Bangkok area, which is where I live and currently in the middle of the largest shutdown ever. Well, not ever, but currently in the middle of another shutdown, I should say. Another restriction, another place where we can't move, right? You can't move from certain times. Curfews are in, travel restrictions, interprovincial travel is pretty much, well, it actually is banned in some provinces. But Bangkok, the 5 adjacent provinces, and at least 5 provinces down south are all dark red zones where you can't, the curfews have been imposed, and the restrictions are just through the roof. Okay, they're talking about says the AZ vax donated by Japan helped make up some of the shortfall in Siam Biosciences production of the vax within Thailand. The plan to produce 10 million a month for use in Thailand was recently reduced to just 5 million vaccines a month. Plans laid out by the CCSA include vaccinating Bangkok area elderly and at risk, as well as students, diplomats, athletes, and people planning overseas travel that require vaccination. Pfizer vaccines were also discussed as a necessary to be given to healthcare workers already jabbed with the Sino to provide protection against C-19 Delta variant. I just don't think these people know what they're doing. They also covered in their meeting today that mainly focused on Bangkok lockdown measures. It says Bangkok lockdown measures. You see it in blue right there? Bangkok lockdown measures. plans to open more testing centers after Bangkok centers have been overrun by people testing, with some resorting to camping out to receive the test. And what something else they're not telling you here is a lot of people are waiting on a hospital bed at home, and because they're not getting a hospital bed, they're passing at home. And that's a fact. It's been in the media for a while. All right, I had a lot of comments here. Let me catch up real quick. Let's see. Carl says, is Ivanka... We don't talk about politics, Carl. Those are political people. We don't talk about those. Montelli says that pesky side effect of Keith Smith from getting the shot. Yeah, it's always a possibility. Definitely possible. Not big numbers, but possible. Tim says Carl knows she is way too busy trying to keep her butt. Again, that's political, but since you didn't mention any names, I'll leave it up. Charles says, about time other countries donated their excess. Unfortunately, I agree. I don't know why. You got the Swedish embassy donating jabs to Swedish people. You got over here in Thailand, you got the French embassy donating to French people. There's another embassy that's doing it, but I can't remember which country. Americans, thanks, Biden. You know, I mean, we appreciate the nothing that you're doing for us. There's no excess backs coming over. Hit the thumbs up button, guys, if you're enjoying this. And don't forget, Lyle's got a challenge out right now. We need 50 more US dollars, and Lyle's going to pay 30. And then we're going to have a $100 day here on DoMoreLife. But yes, other countries are not, especially the Western countries, seem to not be giving any excessive amounts of doses to certain countries, or certain to their citizens, I should say, and it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why. You gotta love Thailand says, hey Jeremy, was it Ross that said 1/3? Yes, it was. Can't find it. Can you ask him if he's not there, or if he is there and reads this? Where did he get his information? I'm sure he'll respond if he's here, but if I talk to him, I'll let you know. Carl says, Steve, I'm not getting it either. I'll be waiting for the National Guard to come to my door to question me. That's fair enough. Tim says, I've gotten both jabs of M and I feel fine. Good. Good, Tim. I'm glad to hear that. Montelli says, oh, they still want to... Let's take that one away. Hey, there's a PayPal coming in from Mr. Richard Cyphers. Thank you very much, sir. That's $10 more down. 40 to go. Only $40 to go. Let me wait for the email to come through here. And because it has his middle initial in it, it always does, I'll cover up his name or his first name and middle initial anyway. And you can see $10 there. So $40 to go live. Make you pay. Gotta Love Thailand says that's the 1.5 million from the US, not Japan. It's Pfizer. I'm reading directly from a news source. That's all I can tell you. Lyle says the good news is Lyle has a challenge out and you can contribute to the channel. Watch the dancing monkeys. That's very true. We made a good amount of money on the live stream once, and I did the monkey dance live, so it was rather embarrassing. That's what he's referring to. Filtho says that is good news if they are allocating jabs to the elderly. That should cover a lot of the expat community in a non-racist place like Thailand. Agreed, Filthos. Charles says, gotta love Thailand. Ross is there. I'm sure I'll get to his answer in a second. Let's see here. LG says, wait a minute. Where was that? Okay. Hey, Michael in Oregon, good to see you, man. Channel member, long-time channel member. Thank you for being here. Panpon, hello, good to see you, Panpon. Tim says, is there still an American embassy in Thailand? Yeah, there is. Jason X says, factual numbers, total, it's Thailand to date, 2,064 deaths and car crashes in Thailand, just January to June, 44,000. I understand your point there, Jason. I'll leave that in there, and hopefully those numbers won't get flagged by YouTube. We hope. Because they do sound very accurate. Now, Stuck says, okay, Carl and Tim, that's enough, and you too, Steve. Charles says, make lie pay, people. Yeah, make lie pay for sure. Ross says, I got the info from my wife. That sums up pretty much everything. I wouldn't question his wife. Gotta love Thailand. She gets this information and she understands and knows. She is a very, very intelligent woman, and I'm sure she wouldn't pass along incorrect information, although I know it can happen from time to time. Let me read this tweet that just came out. No long-term vaccination plan in place for students. And schools been closed down after only a few. Phuket just closed all of their schools. The future for private schools is bleak. And that's where I work, by the way. That's why I'm furloughed at the moment, or partially furloughed. How many will survive this academic year without going bankrupt? That is a good question. That's a tweet. But yesterday it was announced that Phuket had closed 2 of their schools. Now they closed them all. But yet they have this Phuket sandbox model inviting foreign tourists. Come in, foreign tourists. Come on, we're good to go. I'm not seeing the logic behind it here. We had a PayPal come in. Thank you very much, Mr. George. I appreciate that. Oh, he sent a request. He sent a request for money. George, I wish I had the money to send to you, bro. But I definitely don't. Yeah. So no money's there. I thought that was PayPal coming in, but it was a request to go out. Let's see here. Charles says, make law pay. I agree. LG says, vets are getting vaccinated in Manila from the VA. Yep, that you can do that. That's definitely an option. Definitely an option. Let's see. Come on, Stuck. Have a heart, says Montelli. Ross says she is never wrong. Just ask her. I'm not getting to see any of George's messages there. Let me look at one of his. Oh, Lord, no wonder. Yeah, okay. All right. Just catching those. You guys can't see them. Yeah, we can't, George. Unfortunately, we can't put those numbers up because there's just too. It's just YouTube could take it the wrong way, could not understand it if they're not sourced properly. There's too many things that could go wrong. And just out of curiosity, why did you request $20 Australian? I'm just out of curiosity. That's very odd. I never get requests for money. It's cool, but I just out of curiosity. Lyle's laughing at Ross. Chuck, hello, my friend. Good to see you. Lyle says, you did the chicken dance. Yes, I did. Tim says yes, and the video went viral. It is the most watched video in YouTube history. No, it's not, but that's it is what it is. Montelli's agreeing with George's numbers, and I don't disagree with the numbers. I just there's no source there, so can't leave them up. Charles says, everyone remember we have to behave to the YouTube constraints, my family. No politics or conspiracy talk. We feel you, but have to keep it BC. Well said, Charles. Very well said. Matt Tech, greeting to you, sir. You just walked out of IHOP. I hope you had a good meal. Good to see you, bro. Hope you've been listening. Charles says, if you join the members channel, we can talk more openly. That's true. The member section is an option for everybody. It's really expensive. It's $2.99 a month. So I know most people can't afford that. I'm joking, of course. David says, I can see why people are upset. Not right. I can see why people are upset. Not right. I think you're just saying you can see why people are upset. Yeah. A lot of people are upset. Prep for it says, thank you, Charles White. Yep, that was a good mention for sure. Where was I? Gotta love Thailand's laughing at Ross. Some people are saying hello here and the family that know each other. Ed S. Oh man, not another lockdown. Oh yes, it is another lockdown, my friend. Another one. And we're right in the middle of it. It's kind of soft this weekend, but starting Monday, it'll be even more restrictions. Charles says at 10, yes, U.S. Embassy for U.S. still there. Yeah, it is. Filto says school closes and bankruptcies are good news. Less school and education today means more drinking companions and nightlife tomorrow. That's a dark joke. Prep for it says, I am not violent, but a big thank you to the mods for I'll remove that. We don't want to have that in the chat, but I hear you, Prep for it. It's all good, brother. Ed S says YouTube doesn't like misinformation. That's true, they don't. George says trying to send. Oh, you're trying to send money. Mistake. LOL. No problem, man. No problem. You can always send. That's for sure. But I was just curious. I'd never gotten a request before, so no worries, man. No worries, George. And sorry we couldn't post your numbers up there, or couldn't leave them up there. I apologize, but it's one of those deals with YouTube, man. Ross says I got to bounce. Take care. Okay, Ross, you take care, buddy. Thanks for dropping by. Stuck in Florida. Peace out to Ross. Matt Tech is saying hi to everybody, and everybody is saying, okay, good time to read some news here. So let's go into some more details about what is actually going on around here. Stay-at-home orders and travel restrictions. Montelli says, does anyone ever ask what makes the fact checkers always right? That's a good question, and it needs to be asked more often. Asia Unscripted says, Jeremy, new figures are out via Bangkok Post. 9,326 cases. 91? Wow. My email address, George, is on the channel as well. You guys can email me here anytime you want. Oh, you're talking about for PayPal, right? I haven't given that email address out to anyone for the PayPal account. Yeah, I don't give that email address out because we had a security problem with it recently. If you click the link above, you should have no problem going to the PayPal and sending or making your contribution, whatever you're like. You shouldn't have a problem. Everybody else does not have a problem with that. Can't give out my address publicly. If you want to message me on Facebook, you can look me up on Facebook Messenger, Jeremy Clodfelter, and I will send you my PayPal email address. So we can do it that way, but I'm not going to put it publicly on here. Stuck in Florida has put up the link that you can click, George. If you click that link, guaranteed you can send your contribution, and I would be greatly appreciative. Let's see. A name that I can't pronounce that ends with 1 says, can anybody prove the numbers are honest? Thailand all of a sudden have so many deaths. Yep. There's really no way to prove the numbers. I don't know. I don't know how they can be proved. I just don't know that. Like, who oversees the overseers, right? To Montelli's point, who fact checks the fact checkers? You know, I don't know how you can prove those numbers. Charles says, pinned it too. Yep, I did. Jason says, DoMoreLife, do you think nightlife stuff in Pattaya and Bangkok will ever come back to what it was like in 2019? Absolutely. I think when it does come back, I think it's going to be better, to be honest with you. And I know a lot of people in Pattaya, and I know several people in the nightlife scene here in Bangkok, and I'm more familiar with Pattaya. Lots of videos on this channel from Pattaya. And I think it will be better than it was, to be honest. Or do you think the sector has been too decimated? People will always open bars, though. Yep, they always will. Always. And there will always be that nightlife. There will always be that entertainment value. There will always Pattaya will always be Pattaya. I don't think you'll ever see Pattaya evolve into a just a beachside vacation town. I think you'll always have the nightlife, and people are waiting to open back up there now. So a lot of businesses are gone, but people will come in and buy them and reopen them. Good question, Jason. Lyle says, Montelli, their mama told them they're always right. That's so funny. Filto says, why fact checker is always right? Because science. Revised definition of science. Sit down, shut up, stop asking questions, submit. I'm not going to argue with you. Gotta love Thailand says, yeah, it was a proof known in the United States has died of old age in the last 2 years. Go figure. I'm not sure what that message means exactly. Daryl from Australia says there's no point in overstating numbers. Sure there is. Paranoia, fear, anxiety, all those things, propaganda, are reasons to overstate numbers. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm not saying the numbers are being overstated. Population control, Pavlov's theory of whatever it is where he rang the bell for the dog, right? Conditioning. You get conditioned to these higher numbers. You get conditioned to these lockdowns. You get conditioned to the government to say, this is what you do when you do it, how you do it. And eventually you think, okay, this is kind of normal. And by the way, I can't remember which president it was. I think it might have been Reagan. I'm not sure. Said the 9 worst words you'll ever hear from a government are, hello, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. So those are just facts that I don't know, that eat me up. But for the most part now, I don't see a point in overstating the numbers. Unless you have some real shady stuff going on behind the scenes, man, to be honest with you. Again, and to your point, to your second question there, what's the point of Thailand overstating numbers? Again, control would be my answer, but I don't think they're overstating the numbers. I don't think they're overstating the numbers. Because they're hurting Thailand's hurting. I mean, hurting. The people of Thailand are hurting, and it's not getting any better. Stuck in Florida says, I could see understating the numbers, but it would be stupid to overstate the numbers. Nobody in charge wants to look like they're out of control of the situation. And that's a fair point. I just try to look at everything from all angles. You know that. So understating is one thing, and overstating is a complete other. And I think overstating would be kind of crazy, really. Like I said, I don't think it's happening, but it's possible. There may be a reason for it somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what it would be. Gotta love Thailand says, I'm sure that no one in Thailand has. Yeah. Yeah. You certainly hadn't read about that. That's for sure. Jason, I do not play any instruments at all. No, sir. I do not play any instruments at all. Gotta love Thailand says, sorry, I'm talking into my phone. Sometimes it gets it wrong. It's okay, man. No problem. Carl says the fact checkers are right if they're sitting on the correct side of the political fence. That's true. No. But Montelli, I'm saying no to Montelli. Because we can't discuss that. But I will tell you this: I watched that whole video yesterday for the first time, and it absolutely blew everything that I thought I knew about the world. It blew it out of the water. It blew it out of the water. I don't really want his name mentioned, so I'm going to pull that down, Montelli. But to give people time to see the name there. If you can find that video on YouTube because, of course, it's who he is. In that video, he basically says the countries that where the governments have control of the people responded better and safer to this situation than those countries where more personal freedom is allowed. And that's scary. That was from the World Economic Forum from Dallas. I probably said too much anyway. Hey, there you go, George. Thank you, brother. George has just sent in 20, I believe that's Australian dollars, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here if the email comes through. There it is. No, US dollars. US dollars. Good for you, George. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that, man. George says 20 US dollars. Wow, we only need $20 more to meet your challenge. So $20 more and Lyle has to pay, guys. $20 more and Lyle has to pay. Let's make Lyle pay before we get off of here. Thank you very much, George. I appreciate that. Thank you for seeing value in the content. That means as much to me as the money does, to be honest with you. But before I get, Charles says make Lyle pay, my friends. I agree. Hi DB1. I'll just call you that. What are the chances that a guy like me can come to Thailand to visit and not have a vacation? That all depends on your vaccination situation, on how many days of quarantine you want to, or where you want to do your 14 days of Q at, where you want to be confined to an island on Phuket, where you want to be confined to the islands of the Samui Plus program, or whether you want to be confined to a hotel room somewhere in Bangkok or another city. That's you can come, but you got to have the money. Let me catch these comments real quick. I have news from CCSA, the very important news from CCSA about these restrictions that I'm going to go over, and you guys can listen to the curfews and the lockdown itself. You can actually hear what it sounds like. Jason X says, Reagan also said how quick our differences will fall away in the event of the world being faced with a hostile threat from outside the world. When is the alien invasion? It's a good question. Law says 43 up, 4 down, still haven't met a mediocre challenge. I know, right? I thought that 100 would go like that. We're only $20 away. It is what it is. It's all good. No worries. Like I said, it's not a requirement to participate in DoMoreLife or the DoMoreLife family. We'll get there. Carl says CDC stated that only 6% of Wu flu deaths were attributed to the disease only. That's a fact from their website. Yeah, they have another fact out too that I want to read here. We're not done with the information, guys. There's been so many people in here and so much comments. I haven't digested that in that time. Yep, everybody read Montelli's statement, and then I'm going to remove that too because that name could be problematic. But look that man up and hear what he has to say, and if you're not a little bit concerned about it, then there may be a problem. Skin flute says, Lyle, I don't know what that means. Montelli says, yep. It talks about that. That's the name of the book, actually. Pull that down. Lyle says, thanks to Charles White. Absolutely. Gotta love Thailand. Got to have a great day. Okay, man. Have a good one, buddy. Australian dollars not accepted. George says, I sent you $20. Yes, you did, George, and I really appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. Charles says, LOL, wow, I like it when we make someone pay other than me. I hear you, bud. Montelli says the book can be downloaded as a PDF search, and there's the title of the book in the comment section that you can read and download. I want to leave it up, because people are not going to know what I'm talking about. But when they watch the replay, but I can't. Sorry, Montelli. Jason X says, are the cicadas in Pattaya or Thailand in general? I think Thailand is general. All right, here are the rules. The stay-at-home orders, travel restrictions in Bangkok and at least 9 other provinces right now. This article was written 17 hours ago. Tight restrictions limiting travel. This is from the Tiger. Tight restrictions limiting travel and ordering residents to stay home are being set in Bangkok and 9 other dark red provinces to control the spread of COVID-19 as the Delta variant of the virus becomes more prevalent. Many have been calling it a lockdown, but the CCSA has been avoiding the word to describe the disease control measures. They're playing semantics. The CCSA also revised the color-coded zoning, which classifies provinces based on the local C-19 situation. See the list of zoning below. Dark red provinces include Bangkok, Pathum Thani, Nonthaburi, Nakhon, Pathum, Samut Sakhon, Samut Prakan, Yala, Nar Tawat, Patani, and Songkhla. So, starting Monday, stay at home. Starting Monday, stay at home. Okay? Stay at home from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. Only leave for essential reasons. Avoid gatherings larger than 5 people and avoid making unnecessary trips. What qualifies as an unnecessary trip? That's what I want to know. Now, starting tomorrow, which is today, okay, relevant authorities will impose stricter regulations and set up checkpoints to limit the number of people traveling from dark red zones. So, if you're in a dark red zone, you're right, Charles. If you're in a dark red zone, they're going to limit the people that, like, your reason for leaving a dark red zone has to be probably exceptional in order to get out of that dark red zone. like you would have to be going somewhere to get a vax or something like that. Which, it is what it is. I mean, what can you really say about it, right? Now, that in and of itself, to me, makes this a lockdown because they are restricting the movement of people. All right. Notice how they says relevant authorities will impose stricter regulations and set up checkpoints to limit the number of people traveling from dark red provinces. So it doesn't say you can't do it. Guys, be careful talking about politics and old stuff over there. Please, 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 please. Be very careful in what you say. We don't want to lose the video here. There's too much information here. I'll greatly appreciate it. I'm sorry if your messages get took down by my moderators, but they're my moderators for a reason. They're doing what they feel is in the best interest of the channel. And I appreciate them very much for that. And no offense to Carl or Alderman Asia or any of you guys that put up a comment and it gets taken down. Don't take offense to it. It's not, if we were sitting down at a table having a conversation, you could say to me whatever you wanted to, and I would say whatever I wanted back. It's not me. It's making sure that we abide by YouTube's community guidelines because we are using the YouTube platform. Therefore, we must abide. It's kind of like abiding by a lockdown, right? If you're in a dark red province, you're going to have a problem traveling out. That is basically what this boils down to. Now, starting Monday, here's the list. Here's the list right here. LG says, so how will Phuket sandboxers get to Bangkok or Pattaya after 2 weeks? Yeah, that's the thing. I feel an implosion coming on of those models. I don't think Samui Plus will start, and I don't think the sandbox will survive. But that's just my opinion, okay? Because there's going to be nowhere to go. That kind of thing. Jason X says, can you elaborate on why you think the nightlife stuff will be better if it comes back? Yes, I will, Jason. If you will just bear with me a moment and let me get through these restrictions, the lockdown orders. Let me get through this content, and I'll be more than happy to come back to your question. Absolutely. And if I forget, just remind me. Not a problem. Okay, so starting Monday, restaurants, markets, and convenience stores must close from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Public transportation must stop services from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Spas, beauty centers, and massage parlors must close. So they're done. They're out of business. Public parks must close at 8 p.m. But again, you can't have more than 5 people gathered. Remember? Okay, so remember that. Work from home at the maximum capacity. And in parentheses, it says the public sector will strictly follow the order. The private sector is asked to do the same. So what does that mean? The public sector will strictly follow the order. The private sector is asked to do the same. Well, most of the money in Thailand is made in the private sector, so they're asking you to do the same. It's going to be weird. It's just going to be weird. Shopping centers must close with the expectation of supermarkets, takeout restaurants, with the exception, No, it says expectation of supermarkets, takeout restaurants, banks, and financial institutions, pharmacies, mobile phone repair and retail stores, as well as vacation centers located in malls. Those businesses must close by 8 p.m. So they must have been an exception. Must have been a typo. All right, so here's color coding for you to take effect on Monday. Maximum control. I've already named those. Then the maximum controlled area. which are the red, okay, which means you're going to fall under a lot of these same type of sort of lockdown measures and bans, the alcohol ban, which I don't understand why there's an alcohol ban. You can't go out at night, so what's the purpose of having an alcohol ban? Let people sit at home and get drunk if they want to. I don't drink, so I'm not advocating for alcohol. I'm just saying it is what it is. But the maximum controlled areas are Krabi, which is right next to Surat Thani. That includes Samui and all the islands that they're planning on opening up. Kachanaburi, another province I can't pronounce. Chonburi, which is where Pattaya is. Obviously. Chainat, Tak, Nakan, Nayok, Nakan, Ratchasima, Nakan Si Tamarat, Nakan Swan, Pechaburi, Prarup Kukri Khan, I hope I said that right. Prechinburi, Pranakan Si Ayutaya, Rayong, Ratchaburi, Lopburi, Samut Sankram, Saraburi, Singburi, Supanburi, Angtong, and Utai Tani. So those provinces will also have severely restricted implications according to the lockdown measures that are being given. I have more information to go over, guys, but I see a lot of people made comments, so I'm going to make sure that I get those comments caught up real quick. First of all, let me answer Jason's question. I think the nightlife will be back bigger and better than ever because people have learned how to make money, whether it be online or through the Line app or through Tinder or Thai Friendly. I'm going to do videos on this stuff to explain. They've gotten smarter about how they make their money in the nightlife industry, how the entertainment makes their money, how the entertainment venues make their money throughout this process. So not only will it come back in full force, the dancing and that kind of thing. Todd, thank you so much for the super chat. I very much appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that, Todd. Thank you very much, sir. And as they have gotten smarter, wiser, and more well-conditioned to being closed down and locked down, you're going to see a lot of different money-making schemes come up there. Thank you again, Todd, for $5 more. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And we're only $20 away from the Lyle's Challenge via PayPal and Cash App, by the way, just to remind you guys. So with that being said, I think that they will use all those methods to come back and make a even more profitable, more expansive city in Pattaya. And that goes for Phuket and all the other nightlife, Bangkok nightlife and everything. So I hope that kind of helps answer Jason. Todd says he matched it. Yes, you did. And I appreciate that very, very much. Okay, David, you take care, brother. Let me go up and catch the comments. Any more thumbs up, guys? Thumbs up. We can get. Appreciate that. Yeah, LG. So I don't know how it's going to work with these provinces being locked down and interprovincial travel also being discouraged. Where are the people going to go after their 2 weeks in Phuket? I would assume they're just going to fly back home. LG says, hi, money down the drain. Could be. Robert B., hello, sir. Appreciate it. The challenge was $20. And we just got the 20. The challenge was $20 more. And Lyle had to pay 30. So we just got 20 in right here from Mr. Charles White. Charles says, he put a note on here that says, damn it, I have to make Lyle pay, LOL. So, Charles, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. There's the 20. Very, very, very much appreciative, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Carl says that person doesn't handle different opinions at all. Shocking. Let's make sure we get rid of that one because that directly calls out the CEO. We're not going to do that. Wow. Here comes another PayPal. Thank you very much, Mr. Stuck. Appreciate you for that very, very much. As always, channel can always use it because we're going to be doing some traveling one way or the other. Robert V just sent $10 for keep hanging in there via the Cash App. I'll show you that in a second. This is Stuck's contribution, $20 more. Lyle's going to kick in with 30 here in a second. And let's see, we have. Then I'm going to get back to the news, guys. Let me just give everybody updates on what's going on here. Where were we? One. There we go. Robert V will get the heart from me. And there it is. For keep hanging in there. And that was the beep for the PayPal from Mr. Lyle. Thank you very much, Mr. Lyle, for putting out the challenge today. I greatly appreciate it. He has sent his 30 USD as promised, and I appreciate that so much. Thank you guys for helping me have such a successful live stream here, and now we're going to continue on with more information and things that you need to know. I'm so glad we have so many people watching today. That's wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and I hope you're not bored of me yet because I have more information to go. Thank you guys sincerely from the bottom of my heart that have provided a super chat or PayPal or Cash App or contributed to the channel in any way today. I can't say thank you enough. Really, really, honest to God, couldn't come at a better time. So thank you guys. I really, truly appreciate it. All right, moving on. Asia Unscripted says, LG, they would be better off to stay in Phuket until things calm down. I agree. Got you, Jason. We handled that. Got that done, Lyle. Robert V says, I'll split that with someone. Thank you, Robert. Got that done. LG says, terrible news. October opening seems dead. Yep, they're still saying, by the way, the Prime Minister came out and said that they were going to open in 120 days several weeks ago. And that would have put it by sometime in October, I think. What are they going to do now? That's my, what are they going to do? Come on in. The Delta's fine. I mean, the water's fine. Like, I don't get it. Tim says, Thai logic for you. It is what it is, Tim. That's for sure. LG says, time to learn Spanish. Yep. I need to brush up on my Spanish because Spanish-speaking country like Mexico seems to be a good spot to go right now. Automat Asia says, LG, hola, from Puerto Escondido. I haven't read Spanish in a long time. Autumn, I'm glad you're there and having a good time, buddy. I really am. Mr. Carlton S. Campbell says, how much is the vax going to cost me? I was told by my Thai wife, married 20 years, she heard 1,700 baht per shot, really. So that's only if you get one type of the vax. I believe, don't hold me to this, but I think that's the Moderna vax that they've imported and brought into Thailand. And if you get that certain vax, you can purchase it at a private hospital. I think both shots are less than 4,000 baht total. So about 1,700. I think the 3,800 baht or 3,400 baht was the total price for both of them. So I think your wife is right, Carlton. I think she's exactly right. Robert B, we got that one done, man. Thank you so much for including that. Carl says, You know I can't leave that up either, Carl. That'd be somebody could misconstrue that for the wrong reason. But fair enough. LG, hola amigo, ¿cómo estás? Let's see. Lyle says, "Go Robert, go, make me pay." He did. Stuck in Florida says, "Autumn Asia, I love that state, and Jalisco are my favorites." Interesting. David went to work. Filtho says, "Do you think the go-go dancers might actually learn how to dance rather than intimidating the Walker Buffalo Shamble?" No, I don't. But you got a good point there. Todd Bailey says, "Hello, JC. Can you talk about the vaccine situation?" Yeah. We're running very, very low, and people aren't getting them. And I encourage you very, very much, Todd, to go back and watch the beginning of this video where we talk about the Sino version of the jab and why the reports say it is not effective against the current variant that is consuming Thailand. Pretty rough. Robert, thank you again. Lyle, thank you again. Jason X says, "I have to go, but this stream was good and unexpected. Good night." Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. And glad you were able to make it. But yeah, Carl, I understand. I got you, man. I know, right? It's kind of it's ironical and a little bit hypocritical, but yeah, I got you. Tim says, "Well, if you can't trust the," I'll leave that one alone. All right, let's go back to the news because we've had 5 pieces of news come out since the last time I said anything about the news. So check this out. Let me read this to you. This is how well it's going in the Phuket sandbox right now. This is from the Tiger, published 8 minutes ago. It says, "Sandbox tourist forced to stay in ASQ hotel after fellow passenger on her flight test positive." So this was the guy that tested. I assume this was the guy that tested positive. I don't know. Let's read. Let's read the article. It says, "Stephanie came to Phuket as a kickstart to a new adventure and a long-term stay in Thailand." So this is where they're going to run into problems with these lockdowns, shutdowns, and all this stuff. There's going to be massive problems they're going to run into. Stephanie came to Phuket as a kickstart to a new adventure and a long-term stay in Thailand. The Phuket sandbox option would allow her to visit around the island for 14 days before heading off to other destinations in Thailand, but it didn't work out as planned. Now she's stuck in a small room for up to 14 days. Average cost of 3,400 baht per night. So as of right now, that's a little over $100 a night, okay, that she's having to pay out of her pocket, including 3 meals for an average hotel room. We will follow Stephanie's progress on the Tiger and hope that sanity prevails. That's what they said right there. She was these were one of the people that were asking to leave Phuket, and I'll bring that story to you in just one second because I can find it. In 1 second. Here we go. So this was, I believe yesterday this was released. 21 hours ago. 12 sandbox travelers in quarantine request to leave Thailand. The strict rules and closed entertainment venues have discouraged many potential tourists from coming to the Phuket sandbox just yet. But many who have arrived have expressed happiness to be enjoying the beauty of Thailand, even with the complex process and limitations on the ground. But predictably, one group of sandboxers who are in quarantine after one traveler tested positive for C-19 are ready to call it quits and are requesting to leave the sandbox and return home. when a man was confirmed on July the 6th, Emirates flights from Dubai to have COVID. He was immediately admitted to a hospital, and the 13 other sandbox passengers on his flight were transferred from their SHA Plus certified hotels to alternative local quarantine facility to be placed under observations for signs of COVID-19 infection. Aside from the 13 other flight passengers, 7 more people, like taxi drivers and hotel staff who were in close contact with the infected man, have been contained in an ALQ as well. All 20 people in the ALQ facility have tested negatively for C19 so far and will be tested again on their 6th day. Meanwhile, their health will be monitored. So they're essentially in quarantine. They're in quarantine. The Phuket Provincial Public Health Office confirmed the situation and reassured everyone that they are following their disease control measures and are testing and containing any possible C19 outbreak. They seek to keep the confidence in the sandbox and Phuket's ability to reopen and keep people safe from the virus. We're beyond that, by the way, just to let you guys know. Hey, Ed, good to see you, bro. Thanks for dropping by. Meanwhile, 12 of the 13 foreign travelers now in quarantine have announced that they are attempting to leave Thailand and return home, presumably to Dubai, where their sandbox flight originated. Apparently not enjoying their ALQ accommodations, they will seek to depart Thailand. The terms and conditions of the Phuket sandbox, this is important. The terms and conditions of the Phuket sandbox dictate that all costs related to any COVID-19 measures and actions are completely the responsibility of the international traveler. So payment for the expenses of being in quarantine in an ALQ venue will be footed by the 12 sandbox travelers. It is unclear if their required 14 days of SHA Plus hotel bookings will be refunded as well. Source of that was the Phuket News. So we don't even know if they got refunded for sure from their hotel. That's just not very good. Here's something else talking about people wanting to get the vax here in Thailand. Listen to this. 67,000 Phuket residents tried to register for Moderna. The web portal crashes. So yesterday, and this was written 24 hours ago, so the day before yesterday, nearly 70,000 people tried to apply for the Phuket Moderna vaccine reservations. The web portal crashed instead. The 67,000 hopeful vaccination registrants would have had their vaccines provided by Bangkok Hospital Phuket and Bangkok Hospital Siri Roj. The crash did not sit well with many who had already found the registration process slow and rife with system failures and an all-around laborious and taxing process. And it is. I tried to register myself. It didn't work. Registration opened at 9 a.m. Not for this particular one, but a different system that was set up here in Bangkok. Registration opened at 9 a.m. and in less than 2 hours, the hospital announced that they were running out of stock. The Bangkok Hospital Group released a statement to the Thai media where they extended their mean culpa for the technical difficulties and the disappointment people experienced. They explained that the response overwhelmed their IT systems. However, they did dangle a carrot when they said if you were not successful in registering, they will hopefully have more vaccine availability in the near future. They did not offer any specifics on the timeline of what near might mean, tantalizing the public with possible dates they imagined they could register to get vaccinated. Further, they reassured people whose registration for Moderna seemed to be successful but did not get a payment link. Don't worry, because they will keep a record in their system so you don't have to re-register. They closed off with an apology and their appreciation for everyone's kind understanding. However, Bangkok residents just saw the opening to book Moderna at the Bumrungrad Hospital less than an hour ago. The Tiger reported that the registration page was described as near impossible. Source, the Phuket News. Yeah. So that's kind of what that's what it's like. That's what it's been like. That's what it's probably going to continue to be like. Let's see here. Montelli says there's always going to be another variant. The next one to be afraid of is called the. Yep, I read that. More boosters coming up. I did. We haven't heard a lot about it, so safety precaution there, Montelli. Tim said it's called paranoia. I don't disagree with that. Montelli says the tires are obviously not containing the virus. Yeah, there's no real containment that I see here. They say they're going to contain with these travel measures, but the cases continue to rise. They've had lockdown after lockdown after lockdown, and yet the cases continue to rise. They're breaking records daily. They broke a record yesterday. They broke another record today. In fact, they broke a record today for the number of cases and for the number of people who passed for a daily record anyway. And Tim says, well, that's good for business. Yeah, obviously he's joking, but it's not good at all. Charles says, that is my nightmare. I take care and do everything right, then someone else causes me to be restricted further in ALQ. Exactly, and you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. That's you're already confined to the island for 14 days. There's no nightlife on the island. The only thing you can really enjoy is the businesses that are open, the shops that are open, and the beaches, which Phuket has some of the nicest beaches in the world. But, is that what you're coming for? And if you get shut down in an ALQ facility, you have to pay for it. And there's no guarantee you're going to get your refund from the SHA Plus place that you went to. So, as Anon did, excuse me, guys, I'm losing my voice here. Anon is a channel member and an active part of this channel. As he did, he just went ahead and went to Bangkok and did his 14 days in ASQ in a hotel room there, and then went on about his way in Thailand. And I think that's a safer way to do it, because even if on your flight somebody tests positive or whatever, you're already going to be in a hotel room quarantined, and you've already paid for it. So you're not losing anything. Certainly not as much freedom as the Phuket model, the sandbox model is, but what are you going to do, right? Montel is asking about Bacolid. Robert B says, does the Thai government subsidize the flight? A380 or 777-300 with 13 passengers is a big money loser. Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. I've been on both those aircraft, and 13 passengers is a tremendous money loser. There are some deals that they've worked out with the airlines, but I don't know the details of them, Robert, so don't hold me to any of that. Tim says, man, the Thai government is sounding more and more like the American government. It's it is what it is. Ed says, we are locked down, can't go off the island unless swab and quarantine. So Ed's in the Philippines, by the way. And the Philippines is currently ranked number 1 in the world as places not to go. And Thailand's ranked number 3. Just for you guys to know. That came up in a article I read recently. Tim says, I read that. Dale, hey Dale. He says, thanks for the news updates. You're welcome, sir. Ed says, us old people only can leave house to go to docks and buy food. Terrible. ECQ, which is the Philippines version of like ASQ. Till the end of the month. I'm sorry to hear that. Hey Jose says heartbreaking news for those sandboxers. It is. It absolutely is. And I hate it for them. I really do. Montelli is talking to Ed. He says, once again, I'm having to bail. No, she had to get the antigen test. It was negative. I told her she better be out within 72 hours of the result. Good for you, Montelli. If you don't know who Joy is, people in the comment section, don't worry about it. It's just a friend of Steve's. I wanted to read you we've got one more. Oh, Phuket taxi meeting, 20% fare cut, but doesn't address gouging. So take that as you will. Some information has come in while I've been talking to you guys, and I want to try to address that right now if possible, because this is from the Pattaya News. I want to see what they're up to, see what kind of articles they have here. Let's see. Okay, they announced the strict measures. The Chonburi governor orders a temporary closure of a construction worker camp in Sriracha. Listen, so they're going on this I don't want to call it a rampage, but Thailand is closing down all these construction camps, right? So the construction camps are filled with migrant workers from either other countries or other provinces around Thailand. So what happens is when it's already bad living conditions, hard work, that kind of thing. So when the government comes in and says, hey, we're going to lock you in place, all right, people escape, okay? They escape the quarantine. What do? They go back home to their villages in Thailand. That would be a reason, could be a potential reason, why you're seeing the spread all over Thailand. Because these people live, the construction camps, they live in very close proximity to each other. They work in very close proximity to each other. And it's very easy for infections to spread when you're in that close proximity. By the way, if you're enjoying this content, please hit the thumbs up button, and it's free. So, in my opinion, locking down the construction workers' camps are just like it's asking for trouble, in my opinion. On Friday, July the 9th, Chonburi announces 317 new and confirmed cases. That's not good. Not good at all. So there wasn't a lot of information in that one. Let me see if I can get something from the TPM. A UAE football star visits Phuket as part of the sandbox model. That's not really the kind of news we're looking for here. And it talks about the CCSA meeting. So good. We've pretty much covered all of the. Oh, I need to cover the AirAsia thing for you guys. Because if you come to Thailand, one of the ways to travel, the good thing about traveling around Thailand is air travel. And air travel is very inexpensive here in Thailand. And it's even less expensive right now. Many of these airlines have cut prices to get people on board, to keep the businesses flowing, et cetera, right? So, AirAsia, on the other hand, has decided to do something a little bit different. This is from theglobe.co.th. It reads, Thai AirAsia domestic flights suspended for the rest of July. Thai AirAsia, the low-cost airline that offers domestic and international flights from Bangkok and other cities in Thailand, has announced on Friday evening the suspension of their services within Thailand with immediate effect until the end of July. They relayed the decision to their customers via their social media pages, citing the government announcements Friday, which restrict provincial travel within the kingdom. That makes sense. The company explained on their post that they aim to contact directly passengers who are booked on any domestic flights within July 10th through 31st. Thai AirAsia also stated that they will be sending out SMS messages and emails to the booked travelers right away to alert them of the news. At the moment, this is the only guidance that the airline has issued, aside from communicating that they plan to resume operations in August. There's been no mention of refunds for passengers on those flights, which has left citizens up in arms. Some also said that they are now confused over which airlines are currently operating and which are not. I can tell you from flying Vietjet here in Thailand, you're not getting a refund. So it is what it is. Many, however, have commended the airline for the decision, which will cause them further financial damage. One wrote on the airline's page, "Credit to AirAsia for doing the right thing in the circumstances." There have not been any updates made at the time of this writing on Saturday morning in English via the AirAsia website. And you can check it out at airasia.com/en/GB. For those of you that don't know, Thai AirAsia is a joint venture of Malaysian low-fare airline AirAsia and Thailand's Asia Aviation that has operated since December of 2003. AirAsia was in the local news this week as it was announced that they had paid $50 million to buy Gojek's Thai operations. So, Robert says they're refunding someone here in Thailand. That's good. That's good. That's good. Hey, Regular Joe Travels, what's up, brother? Hate to hear it's not improving there right now. Paul as well. I'm okay, but it's not improving. It's only going to get worse. Let me catch up on the comments here. It's only going to get worse. It's going to get worse until it gets better. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say, but it's the absolute truth. It's going to get worse until it gets better. That's just the way it is. Let's see. Where was I here on the comment section? Charles White says, we had 2 construction camps at the dead open of Soi 4, or at the dead end of Soi 4 in Bangkok, where I was staying with my girlfriend. It would suck to have them closed and locked into a place and not be able to exit. Yeah, I agree. Tim says, prices so low, we went out of business. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's a good point, Tim. Hey, Jose says, stuck in Florida. Oh, he's talking to, you guys are having another conversation. Charles White says, families live there. That's very interesting. I wasn't aware that families live there, so very interesting. Hey, Pete. He says, no way out of this until majority of Thais have been pricked to avoid serious complications and not transmission, which most will get in their lifetime. It will take early 2022 to fully reopen. I agree with your comment, Pete, but I think it may be longer than 2022 at this point. I honestly don't know when the reopening will, an actual reopening will take place. I don't see with nearly 10,000 cases a day, and based upon the information I just gave you, that those numbers are probably going to go higher in the weeks to come, if not the months to come. More people are going to be out of jobs. I can't afford to be furloughed anymore. So it could be time for me to either look at getting out of teaching altogether over here and trying to find something else, or possibly returning to the U.S. I'm not a fan of returning to the U.S. by any means, but I've been talking with family and weighing my options. I've applied for online teaching jobs over here so that, I have a work permit. I work as a teacher. I can teach online. It's not an issue. It's the same reason I can do a YouTube channel online. I'm waiting to hear back from the online companies. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes 2 to 3 weeks for them to get back to you. And then you can get started. And even when you start low. It takes a while. It just takes a while to get the extra revenue stream coming in. So that's my personal update is I'm still furloughed and half furloughed. I receive half month's pay basically, which doesn't even cover my living expenses. But that's not anybody's problem to worry about. I'm just saying it's a bad situation over here, and I work for a private school, so we're hoping that all that changes this month. The good thing is I have the ability to teach online, and hopefully I can get some online companies. I've applied with companies like Cambly, for example, and a couple others, and hopefully they come online. For sure. And if any of you have suggestions for online activities, I put out some online ads for tutoring online, so people can either by Zoom or whatever. I have the means to do that. Also have the means to. I'm not scared to go to somebody's house and tutor their kids or tutor them in English in any way. So that's a possibility. I'm trying to do everything I can to stay here in Thailand, but just know I don't want it to come to a great grand shock to everyone if I say, hey guys, in 3 weeks I'm leaving for the U.S. I don't want people to be like, oh my God, what's he gonna do? Well, the good news is I already have a travel plan set up over in the U.S. There's only a few obstacles I have to overcome over there. And we're going to keep banging away at DoMoreLife. If, in fact, we don't get to go into the office this coming week and I don't have classes online, I'm going to spend the entire week setting up another channel. Montelli, I hate you. He says you can always try to. It's sad that you even know what that is, by the way. Or maybe it's sad that I know what that is. But that's kind of my personal update. Robert says, I agree with Pete on the need for jabs in order to get past this. That's fair enough. Nothing, I don't have any reason to disagree with that. Stuck in Florida says, once the companies that are producing the very effective shots as much as they can from rich countries, they will be selling them at reduced rates to poor countries. I agree with that. I do agree with you 100% there, Stuck. I think that'll happen, and the quicker it happens, probably the better off people will be. Jason says, DoMoreLife, check out Safety Wings Nomad Insurance. They apparently refund up to $1,000 of the Q fees once per year. It's only $45 under 40, $65 over 40 per month. They have a referral program too. That's very good information, Jackson. Thank you. I love when people in the chat hand out good information. I personally have my own health insurance here. So I don't have to worry about that. I have health insurance through my job, but I have my own separate zero deductible. I have two policies worth $1 million each that take care of me here. So, and it's only about $1,250 to $1,350 depending on the exchange rate per year for those plans, and it's through AIA. So if you ever come to Thailand, you want good insurance, I can recommend AIA insurance here in Thailand. You'll need somebody that speaks Thai in order to help you get through that process. So thank God for the girlfriend, but it can be done. Yeah, Chatterbait. I hear you, Steve. I don't think they pay guys for that. Philtho says, returning to the U.S., my first thought is, which Waffle House are we going to for dinner? I know, right? There's about 9.5 million job openings over there right now. And I wouldn't plan to take one of those job openings. What I would do would be teach English online. Somebody sent me a message. I'll get back to them after the stream for sure. I would teach English online and continue to do YouTube. And I would be traveling with my family, which would be very interesting because they tend to set out. They're currently in Florida and they're heading west with the ultimate destination being the Grand Canyon. So everything between Florida and the Grand Canyon, we get to be vlogged. I could turn this back into a vlogging travel channel instead of a news-oriented channel. And that would be very, very, that would make me very happy. For those of you that don't know me and don't know about my situation, I have an underlying health condition. So the only thing I really have to worry about is if I have to find a job, finding a job, and then finding doctors state to state as we travel always proves to be a little bit difficult. But I've had some help from some people who have steered me in the direction of where to go and how to get around some of that. So, LG says, sorry of this doom and gloom forecast, but I'll probably get the Pfizer booster before a majority of Thais get the first jab, which is probably not very effective. This is a continuous vicious circle. I agree, LG. I agree, bud. And the doom and gloom. I hate to be one of those people that say, hindsight's 2020. Go back and look at the past. And they could have done this, they could have done that, but really, a lot of this could have been prevented. A lot of what Thailand's going through right now could have been prevented. And it wasn't. And again, I'm really not, even though it sounds like I'm smashing the Thai government and the medical industries here, I'm really not, because they've never faced a situation like this before. They didn't know exactly what to do. They did what they felt was best for the Thai people and for their country. So therefore, I can't really criticize them. I can just, all I can do is present the information of what's actually going on, what's actually happening, what people are saying, to provide you guys that may be potentially looking at coming to Thailand, travel and tourism information, so that you know whether or not, or so that you can make a well-informed decision. If you can make a well-informed decision, then I feel like I've done my job. Asian Scripted says, I went around today and even a McDonald's is offering $13 an hour. Places are desperate. That's good news. I mean, really, that's good news for job offers. Montelli says, I'm eating Soylent Green for dinner if anyone's interested. Jason says, Montelli, I prefer the red. Great movie from the 60s. Automatic Asia says, Tim says, I had spaghetti and meatballs for dinner. Ooh, I'd love to have spaghetti and meatballs. That would be definitely something interesting. Stuck in Florida says, it's easy to be an armchair quarterback. It's completely different when people's lives actually depend on your decision. 100%. 100%. That's why I'm not going back and saying, not looking in the past and trying to beat people up or make derogatory comments about how things were handled in the past. The past is the past. If you look at my past, my personal past, it's not good either. So I don't, I wouldn't want people to armchair my past and say, you could have done this, you could have done that. I'm well aware about the bad decisions I've made in the past and wish I could change them. So I agree with you. Prim, good morning. Hello, and thank you for joining. Charles White, my friend, thank you so much for your contribution and everything you do for the channel. I appreciate it very much. You take care of yourself, brother, and we'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. right here on DoMoreLife. 9 a.m. Bangkok time tomorrow, 10 p.m. On the East Coast of the United States. That's when we have our live streams on the weekends, and hopefully we'll be able to travel again in a few months. And I can be able to bring you guys more videos and less live streams. That'll work out pretty well. Tim says, well, it's midnight here in New Hampshire, and this old has to go to bed. Night, everybody. Tim, thank you for joining the chat. Appreciate you being here, brother. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow, man. As far as the chat itself goes, I really hope that some questions were answered and some things were said, at least to get your mental wheels turning. I do want to make mention of this. Right now, the Thai baht is falling in value, especially against the U.S. dollar. I encourage you to keep an eye on that. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow in tomorrow's live stream. So I think that that will be an interesting conversation to have. We'll talk about the good, the bad, what it means for the Thai people, for expats coming over. There'll be some advantages, there'll be some disadvantages, but keep an eye on the Thai baht strength right now, as it is losing strength every time one of these lockdowns occur. Every time one of these models, these reopenings has a problem, you see it fall a little bit. And if it does get to, right now it's about 32 something. I'll tell you what it is. Hang on one second. Let me look it up to the US dollar. Let's see here. USD AC1. So right now it's 32.5 according to XE. So if I look at the 1 month, you can see the chart right there, 32.5. Okay. If it breaks through 33, as Ross was pointing out to me yesterday, if it breaks through 33, it could go into a free fall. And you could see something like 40 to 50 baht to the US dollar. Montelli says, no government in any nation knows what to do with this. Can't blame them. We can't blame. Why do you have to keep mentioning his name, man? I don't want to leave your comments up. Yeah. But I agree with your statement, Montelli. All of it. I agree with it 100%. Stuck says there have been movies, books, lectures, mass studies on a situation like this over the past 100 years since it last happened, but no one wants to spend money on a hypothetical. You make a very good, solid point there, Stuck. Very good, solid point. And perhaps spending money on a hypothetical got us into this mess. I don't know. That's a theory that's been laid out. No proof, but it's a possibility. Definitely a possibility. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for coming to this very long 2-hour live stream today, which I don't normally have. Lyle says it's discouraging. I was looking at Thailand as a leader in Southeast Asia, but after the last few months, yep. Yeah, it really is discouraging. Thailand did so well. Filtho says, time to start accumulating that 800,000 baht for the retirement deposit. That's a good point, Filthos. For those of you who don't know, retirement requires either a 65,000 baht a month coming in to a bank account, or 800,000 baht that just sits in a bank account to get a retirement visa if you're single. So on the road, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being a channel member. I see your member status has increased. Glad to see you in here. LG says, "Bot dive, baby dive." It's diving. It's definitely diving for sure. Robert B says, "I'm nervous about food safety." That's fair enough. Food safety is always a concern. And I've had food poisoning over here myself. You just have to be careful and learn your vendors, learn where to go, where not to go, and always go where the Thais go. If you're talking about Thailand, always go where the Thais go. If the Thais are going there buying a bunch of food and you see a line at a street food vendor, you're probably in good hands because they're not going to go eat at a place where they're going to get sick. That's for sure. Stuck says that, Lyle, if you look at the other countries in Southeast Asia as closely as you do Thailand, you'll see they have the problems too. I'm glad you said that, Stuck. That brings me to one more point I wanted to talk about. This is Vietnam. So just like they've been issuing COVID visa extensions here in Thailand, they've been doing the same thing in Vietnam. But now all that's coming to an end. Vietnam's they're having their own problems right now. JC, that will teach you how to cook for yourself. Fair enough. Yeah. my pit. I don't know why they got held for review. Maybe because the S word in there. We'll take it down just to be safe. This is for Vietnam. Foreign nationals who've been stranded in Vietnam can now avail of an automatic final extension of stay issued by the country's immigration department. The automatic extension allows foreigners who arrived on visa waivers, e-visas, and tourist visas from March 1, 2020 to remain in Vietnam until July 31st and to depart the country without applying for an extension of stay. The stipulation also applies to foreign nationals who arrived in Vietnam prior to March 1, 2020. However, in this instance, travelers must provide evidence that they became stranded in a country as a result of the pandemic. Didn't mean to say that word. According to a TTR weekly report, this proof needs to include a diplomatic message from their embassy, which must have a Vietnamese translation. Failing this, they will need to submit a written document from the Vietnamese authorities that confirms they were required to have treatment for COVID-19 or to undergo mandatory quarantine or some other force majeure occurrence that prevented them from leaving. Travelers will be required to show the supporting documentation from their embassy or the Vietnamese authorities or their departure. While, like Thailand, Vietnam has issued several extensions to the grace period for stranded foreign nationals, it appears the deadline of July 31st is final. There you go. And Vietnam is just getting started with this wave that's coming through there. It's not looking good for them at all. How are the grocery stores over here in Thailand? They're good. You can find tons and tons of groceries over here, Robert. All kinds of stuff. Yeah, my pet is actually how you. I think that's how you say it correctly. Stuck. Yeah, meaning no spicy. Yeah. I use it all the time, so I either say it right or say it wrong. But they understand me when I when I order food. They know I don't want any spices in there for sure. So, I hope that this lockdown does not last long. They're calling it 14 days again. You know, it could turn. Just when they implemented the emergency decree, it was only supposed to be for, I think, 90 days originally. We've been under the emergency decree now for almost 15 months. The flatten the curve in the USA was supposed to be 14 days to flatten the curve. That didn't work for a long time. I don't think a 14-day lockdown here in Bangkok is going to prove to be very successful in terms of slowing the spread, particularly when one of the jabs used has now been proven to be mostly ineffective against the variant that's currently running through Thailand. So, you know, this is kind of a hope for the best situation, but you already know pretty much that the worst is coming. Asia Unscripted, who just came from Vietnam, by the way, says, in Saigon, all restaurants are closed for 2 weeks. No grab car, grab bike, taxis, etc. Wow. That would make it very hard to eat. You'd have to go to a grocery store, I guess. Stuck says, Robert V, many grocery stores with familiar products, but can be pricey for Western food. Yeah, absolutely, Stuck. I agree 100%. LG says, Indonesia fell off a cliff worse than Southeast Asia. Yep. 56 up and 7 down. That is a good number, and I'm happy with it. Filtho says, thanks, Stuck. I translate spoken Thai to Pidgin English written translation in my head. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, Montelli, he definitely is. But we can't use his name because he is the protected one, unfortunately. So anyway, with that being said, I want to thank everyone, starting with people who monetarily contributed to the channel today. I greatly appreciate that. I also like to thank my channel members. We're going to have some content coming up real soon. Plus, we have a members only live stream this month. I'll be letting you guys know when that's coming out. I want to thank my moderators who did a fantastic job of keeping the chat clean and in order today. I really appreciate that. And I want to thank everybody who made a comment, whether we left it up or took it down. I appreciate the input in the live stream. I think it was fantastic to have so much input today. I'm extremely happy with the information that was given. Thank you guys for helping me understand more about Thailand. And I hope that I help you understand a little bit more about what's going on in Thailand right now. That was my goal, and it is always my goal. That way, if I provide the information to you, you can actually do more life. And that's what we're all about. We're all about being able to do more life. Right now is just a bad time to try to get out and do it due to all the travel restrictions and what's going on in 2021 right now. It's just been a bad time. Stuck says, thanks everyone for joining the Do More Life family live stream. And this is a family, by the way. So if you're not a member of the family, become one. And special thanks to those that are helping JC through this. Yes, definitely a special thanks again to those, including you, Stuck, that are being financially supportive of the channel right now and helping me through this difficult financial time that I've not had to endure before. It's new to me, and I can assure you I'm doing every single thing that I possibly can to make sure that every single penny is saved, accounted for, and is only spent on the absolute necessities. And more on that later. Maybe I'll make a video about grocery shopping. We went, for example, I'll say this real quick. Stuck says, I'm doing as much life as my body can take. I hear you, bro. I bet you are. Don't you have company, by the way? We went to the grocery store. My girlfriend and I, we went to the grocery store and spent 3,000 baht 2 weeks ago. And we still have food left over from that. We've only had to spend about 500 more baht just to buy like waters and other thing. A few little other items since then. So with a little over 100 and about 130 bucks roughly, give or take, we've been able to eat. And I've been packing my lunch every day, which is something I've never done before, and taking to work on the days that I do have to work, which that's why I'm in a partial furlough. I hope everybody understands that. So anyway, enough about me. Stuck says I took this weekend off. I need a break. I hear you. Tomorrow we will do some kind of I'll do some kind of research on a different topic. Most likely it'll be the bot. And I want to talk about Pattaya some too, because I haven't been able to really talk about Pattaya in a long time. And I want to talk about their plans for reopening. And I think it was Jason X on here that was asking about Pattaya specifically. And I would love to be able to elaborate on some of these places and what I think is going to happen and why I think that those things are going to go down. So, little bit of a different topic tomorrow, and we'll get away from the travel and tourism aspect. Of course, if there's any breaking news, I'll definitely share that with you. But I look forward to seeing everybody back 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, and that'll be 10 p.m. for you guys on the East Coast. And will John? I'm not sure what that means, but anyway. Thank you guys so much. Again, thanks to everyone who contributed. Thank you so much. Super Chat, PayPal, Cash App, whatever it was. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really, truly, honestly appreciate it. Thank you to my channel members for being supportive channel members, and I hope you enjoy the content that we have in the member section. I love you guys for really bonding with the family. Special thank you to Lyle also for throwing out the monetary challenge. I appreciate that. very, very much, and I appreciate those who contributed, obviously. Thanks to my moderators for doing a hell of a job making sure that the channel stayed as clean as possible. And thanks to everyone who made a comment, whether it stayed up or got taken down. I appreciate the information. Always appreciate the input, one way or the other. LG says, yes, Fatia Rara. We can definitely talk about that. So I will see you all tomorrow, 9 a.m. here in Practice the Dance Moves. I'll see what I can do, Lyle. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m., guys. Bangkok time. Everyone, have a great day and a wonderful weekend. And whatever you do today, even if you're locked down, try to find a way to do more life. Later, guys. Love you, mean it. See you on the next one.